Hi everyone, my name's Michelle and I'm Mama Loves You GB here on FlossTube, but also on Instagram as well. Welcome to the Sunday morning briefing. It's Sunday the 14th of March today and I hope everyone is having a lovely Sunday. I'm filming on Saturday night as normal, so it's pitch black outside. I've got my cosy jumper on and I've got so much stuff to show you this week after my lost in the clouds last week of not knowing what I was doing and going from one thing to another. I've had like a really good focused week this week, so I've got lots of things to show you. Homeschooling, it's been the last week of homeschooling this week. Thank heavens for that. Honestly, if somebody turned around to me and said no, you've got to do another 2 weeks, I'd have been in real trouble. I was really struggling to focus and to concentrate and to get things done this week. So much so we had to go into work on Friday to pick up our new masks. They've given us some sort of standard issue, certain grade level masks that we've got to wear for us and for all the students as well. And the teachers have got to do the lateral flow tests, which I couldn't help laughing were made in China. So we've, on a Sunday night and a Wednesday night, we've got to do our lateral flow tests and record our results from there, so that should be interesting. I've heard that it's first couple of times it's a pretty tricky situation and it isn't very pleasant, so I'm sure we'll all get used to doing them. It's the new normal, or the new normal. I can't remember which level of new we're on at the moment. But yeah, I actually spent all day in school yesterday, Friday, just because I'd found this week so tough that it was almost my own way of kind of giving myself a bit of wiggle room this week. Okay, right, you can just do what you need to do at home, and then you're in school on Friday and you're gonna blast through all the other stuff. So it was okay, and I even managed to get a tip running, which was joyous. We're about to get our garage back from all the sort of crap that's been in there for the last 12 months of sort of not really being able to go. Right. So, what have I been doing? I've been watching a fair bit of FlossTube. I've really enjoyed on the Instagram stories as well, seeing the March Madness, the brainchild of the Steel City Stitchers. I've really enjoyed seeing all that, and I'm a bit sad that I didn't join in on that one. I think it was too late by the time I really realised what it was all about. But I've really enjoyed voting and seeing which people's projects are going through to the next round. It's been really interesting. The other thing that I watched, or the other person that I watched for the first time, to my shame, actually, is Abby Bellastitch, and I watched her most recent episode. And literally within 5 minutes, I'd paused the video and was looking to see if I could purchase a chart. She had done this most glorious finish of A Not Forgotten Farm by Winter Fox by Not Forgotten Farm, and I'm actually going to put a picture up of her finish here, and hope she doesn't mind, because it was just stunning, absolutely stunning. So I'm on the hunt for that chart at the moment. It's not in PDF form in Not Forgotten Farm's Etsy shop at the moment. I have emailed Laurie just to see whether it's possible that it could be a PDF, because they don't ship to the UK. So if you haven't watched Abby Bellastitch, like I hadn't until this week, go back and watch her. She is also the creator of the Stitch Asia hashtag that's going on at the moment, so she gives a really good explanation of that and what it's all about. I had also watched Lisa Smith, Kindred Stitcher, and her unveiling of her new sampler wall, which is absolutely magnificent. If you haven't seen that, then go and have a look at that. I've watched Betsy Kleger as well, both her episodes actually. She's hilarious. She is hilarious. You just got to go and watch her. She's madness. She's madness, but she's so much fun. And I watched Emily C as well, and see what Emily C has been up to. Right, just a couple of very small admin-y points. First thing is I'd given the previous winner of House on Pumpkin Hill a couple of extra weeks to get in touch, and hadn't heard anything from them, so I picked a new winner, and that winner was Sussex Stitch Witch, and I've been in contact with her, and she's liked my message, so I'm sure she will be in touch very soon. And the other bit of admin is the winner of the chart, the free chart from last week. Well, it wasn't a free chart, it was a PDF chart for Woolly Woolly Sheep Sheep. and the winner of that was Kathy Harris. So Kathy, I've commented on your comment. If you can get back in touch with me, then that would be fabulous, and I will put you in touch with Heather, who is from Woolly Woolly Sheep Sheep, and then she can sort you getting your PDF. Congratulations. And I had lots of entries for that one. It seemed to be a real hit. So if you didn't win, do pop along to Woolly Woolly Sheep Sheep and maybe purchase yourself a copy anyway, because it was such a lovely chart. Okay, I'm just insulting my book at the moment and hoping that in a minute I can just put it down. Let me just see, what else have we got? Let's show some stitching, shall we? As I said, I don't know where to put this now, I need sky hooks. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to try and leave it there. As I said, I had a much more productive week. I wasn't here, there and everywhere and settled. And my first thing that I did was I finished this chart, which is Welcome Spring by The Drawn Thread. And I bought this as a kit from Chris at the Nimble Thimble. And just to show you, this is fully kitted up with the dinky dies and the NPIs that are called for, and that is what I had left over. Now granted, I didn't use this one particular colour because it was, for me, it was too close to one of the other colours, but I had absolutely loads left over. So if you're thinking about getting any of the kits from Chris, then they are really well stocked. So I'll tell you a bit more about Chris in a minute. So this is my finish, and I've actually got it fully finished. It is a fully finished object. You might have seen it on Instagram. I've had this one framed up because I want it to sit over our mantelpiece, and I have put glass on this one. I don't normally put glass on my stitching pieces anymore, but this one I have put glass on just because it's in a really dusty spot. You can tell how dusty it is because our we've got one of those Alexa Echoes, and that sits on the other side of the mantelpiece, and no matter how often you dust that damn thing, pretty much every morning you can come down and you can draw your finger in the dust. Now me and dust, we're happy bedfellows most of the time, but that Alexa screen, it just gathers so much dust. So this is my Welcome Spring. Now you're going to get loads and loads of glare off of that, and I'll try not to show it back here at the minute, first of all, and then, so this is the drawn thread, so you know what you're getting with the drawn thread. Beautiful, gosh, you can see the reflection of the chaos that is surrounded in this room. I've done far too many floss tubes and not tidied up properly. So each of the letters has got a sort of a motif associated with it. This darker green thread, I ended up using a sulky thread just because the darker green that came with the kit, although it was the called for one, it didn't stand out as much. It didn't show as much difference as I wanted it to. And then you can see the specialty stitches there, the satin stitch for the eggs and the leaves. What else have you got? Just beautiful. Really enjoyed doing this one. And I got this frame from a company called Skelf Frames. Now I ordered this frame on Monday and it came on Wednesday, and I think that if you order before, I think it's 12 o'clock, your order will come the next day. And they've got lots and lots of frames. Not necessarily, they've got a brilliant choice of frames, not hundreds and hundreds, but they've got a brilliant choice of frames. But what they've got that's excellent is a brilliant choice of sizes. So if you're struggling to find a frame in a particular size, then chances are they might have it, or you can put in your own custom measurements, and they're not expensive. They're not expensive. This had free delivery. It came packaged in enough bubble wrap to, oh, I don't know, I could have insulated the loft with it. And I think it was £19, maybe £19. Now what I'd hoped to do was to use the same frame for all of the series, but because I've kept the glass on, it's not quite deep enough just to use the clips to seal the back. So I've put the brown paper tape over the back, so I will buy a new one for each piece, which I don't mind, that's okay. And there, let's see if I can see, yeah, there you go. There's their information. I found them actually on Amazon. They sell a lot of things through Amazon, but then I actually went to their website to order because the website had a greater choice of frames and sizes. So I was really, really pleased with them, and I would definitely be using them again. So there is my finish. Welcome Spring. And as I said, I mentioned Chris at the Nimble Thimble. The first thing I did, literally as soon as I finished Welcome Spring, was I phoned Chris at the Nimble Thimble and I was like, can I get Welcome Summer as well? She'd had it on her Etsy shop, but she'd taken everything off her Etsy shop because she's doing her stock take a little bit early, because all of the stuff for market's coming in. And so I said to her, oh, if you've got a chance, give me a phone, tell me how Needlework Expo was. And so she phoned me, and she was just absolutely, oh, she was so enthusiastic. She was singing the praises. She'd got to talk to lots and lots of the designers, and she spoke to Paola from Puntini Puntini. She said she was lovely, which was fabulous, as I knew she would be. But she spoke to lots of them, and they just wanted to have conversations. And Chris lives in a little cottage, and she's got a fireplace and dogs, and they were just wanting to speak to her about that. And she said she really, really loved the experience of doing the expo. As someone who's been to market before, she said she really loved it. So where is Welcome Summer? I'll just show you Welcome Summer. So that's Welcome Summer there. It's got the big American flag in the middle, but I shall be recharting that, and I'm not sure whether I'm going to rechart for a Union Jack or whether I'm going to try and rechart for the Welsh flag. I'm not sure. I've had a look for a few Welsh flag charts and I might be able to do it, but we'll see. And then this is the little thread card, again with all the dinky dies and the I'm not sure whether this one's got any MPIs on or not, whether it's all dinky dies. Oh no, it does, it's got a couple of MPIs on it. But yeah, I can't wait to stitch that, and I might actually start that fairly soon. Just because it was a really quick stitch. It was a really quick stitch because it's quite sparse. It's quite sparse. The actual cross stitch for the letters goes really, really quickly, and then the motifs are just so enjoyable that they seem to go really, really quickly as well. So that was my first finish and my FFO. My second finish, so I had 2 finishes this week, was this one. I'm sorry, I haven't ironed anything today. Was this one, Winter ABCs by Little House Needleworks, and this I've stitched on a piece of 28 count Faience Grey by Zweigart in some similar colours, so my own choice of colours. I don't know how this is going to show on camera. It shows up really, really nicely in real life. Oops. And all the way to the bottom there. So I wondered about whether to stitch this on 28 count or whether to stitch it on a higher count. But I decided the one thing that I really liked about it, or one of the things that I really liked about it, was that it was really long. And I figured if I'd stitched it on a higher count, it would have been shorter. And I just liked the fact that it was really, really long. So the white is a Silks for You. The green is a classic Colourworks called Spinach, I think. The red is again a classic Colourworks, I think, called Cupid. And I just ran out of Cupid. There should be the odd little berry on there, and I literally ran out, so I'm not too worried about that. So I shall hopefully finish that off very, very soon, and then I want to get straight on to stitching the spring one as well. Did I put the spring part in here? No, I didn't. So yeah, I want to get on to stitching the spring one very soon as well. Otherwise this is going to get away from me. These seasons are going to be getting away from me. What else did I stitch on? This one, I just had a hankering to get this back out, and I've done quite a bit on it, and I think I know how I'm going to finish it as well now. Gosh, you can see I've literally just finished stitching with it because I've got a big thread hanging down. It's not even gone onto the back yet. I just abandoned it as it was. So this is on a piece of 32 count, I'm just going to put that over there, 32 count vintage country mocha. And you can see my random thread hanging there. Sorry about that, I don't know whether it's better up there or down there. And this is by PyroDog Pins on Etsy. And the reason that I liked this one is because it was one of the best bee charts that I'd seen. Let's see if it's got a specific name other than bee. No, it's just called bee. And so I've got basically the bum of the bumblebee to do, a bit of a leg, and then the 2 wings to finish off. I'm really pleased with how that's come out, and like I say, I know how I'm going to finish this one off as well. So yeah, I was hoping to get that one finished this week, and then I changed my mind and I started something else, because if I didn't start it, I was going to miss the boat on it. And the thing that I was going to miss the boat on was this chart. Where is it? I'm going to have to hold this right because I've got a mishmash of threads inside of it. And it's When I Think of March by Pantini. And I started this yesterday. So this has had sort of one evening plus maybe an hour earlier on today. And this is where I am. Gosh, I should have given that an iron, shouldn't I? This is where I am. So I've done the march, I've got all the main bits in, I've got a little bird and some blossom to put in there. I've got the pot that goes with the pot of gold there. You can see I put it in and then had to take it back out again because I was 1 stitch out and it looked funny. And then a little row of shamrocks to go on the bottom there, and then the shamrock pin goes there. And as you know, or maybe you don't know, I'm finishing these ones on a giant spool. Now this is the one from before where they don't quite fit. My new one should be finished on Monday. But yeah, this is the plan. If you didn't see my video before, this is the plan of how they're going to be finished. Now obviously this one is slightly too small here, and that's why I'm just getting another one made. But that's the general gist of how they will be finished off. And I'm going to make it so that I can just switch the month out and then just have that there. So I've done January, as you can see. I've nearly finished March. I missed out February, but I will go back. I need sky hooks again. I will go back and finish that. Probably get that finished later on tonight, and then I'll have it at least in the month to show, which would be amazing. Okay, the other thing that I've worked on, now I've had such good feedback on this, such good feedback. So if you watched my video last week, you will be aware that I have launched something called the Unfinished Sampler Series. And I'm going to put the hashtag along the bottom. It's Unfinished Sampler Series. And I've already had people showing me what they've done, what they've designed. And the idea, again for those of you who are new or who didn't see last week's briefing, is that I bought this tiny little unfinished sampler. And I've charted it, and I released the free chart last week, and the idea is that you then can finish it however you like. And as I said, I've seen all sorts of colours. There's a couple of people doing it as a red sampler. There's a couple of people who, one lady's charted a house under the bottom, and they're going to be fantastic. They're going to be amazing. So that was what the sampler looked like. It works out as about a 46 count on the actual sampler. I stitched mine on a 36 count. 36 count Oaken by Picture This Plus. And again, I didn't have time to iron it. So this is where I am on mine. So I've started with a tree in the middle and got quite a prominent date on the bottom there of 1926. Now the reason that I've put 1926 on there is because that was a birthday of a very special lady, my Auntie Jeannie. She wasn't my blood auntie, she was my godmother, but she was the most fabulous woman you could ever meet. She was the most fabulous woman you could ever meet. She died when she was 89, when I was pregnant with Ness, hence why Ness's full name is Ness Jeannie. And her husband had a stroke probably, oh, I can't even think the number of years before she died, maybe 5, 6, 7 years before she died. And she would go and see him every single day in the nursing home where he was, and she didn't drive, so she had to catch a bus to the village where the local nursing home was, and the bus stop was a mile away from her house, up a hill onto the main road. And so every single day, most days unless she got a lift, but it was pretty much most days because she was an independent old bird, she would walk up the hill to get the bus to go and see him in the nursing home, and then she would walk back basically. And she did that right up until she died, come rain or shine, wind or snow, she did that. And she was hilarious. She was absolutely hilarious. And one of the things I remember most about her, you'd say to her, how are you getting on? And she'd be like, oh, you know, buggering along. And that was her response. You know, she knew life was hard, and she knew, she was ready for that. She was sort of, yeah, just keep on, just keep going on, small steps every day. Oh, she was just hilarious. She had a friend of hers who used to get her wardrobes from MI5. Now that probably won't make sense to many people outside of the UK, but we used to have a I don't even know if they're still going, are they? A furniture shop called MFI, and she used to get her wardrobes from MI5. And she used to tell this story about her friend. And you know, you go to a wedding and you would wear, you know, one of those little hats that come on a band. So her friend, instead of calling them a fascinator, called them a fornicator. And she used to love telling that story as well. So yeah, they're always known in our house as fornicators rather than fascinators. I digress massively. I wish you could have met her though. She was immense. I've lost even where I've put my project now. Yeah, so she was born in 1926. And as I said, her name was Jeannie. And so her initials are going to be on there somewhere. I've picked out the rest of my motifs that I want to do, and they mostly come from this book which I showed last week as well, the Ultimate Sampler Motifs book by Brenda Keyes. Now, the way that I approached it was I copied the piece of graph paper out the back of the book, and I put the area that I had to work on. And then what I did was I photocopied the pages of the book that had the charts on it that I was interested in. And I literally just sort of cut them out. So this is the one for the pear tree that's in the middle. I don't think you can see that from there. I literally sort of cut them out quite close so I could see their size. And the graph paper and the motifs are in the same scale. So I literally then placed my motif on my graph paper so I knew that it would fit, and I've got the other motifs planned out that I want to do as well. And I just picked myself a colour palette and I started. So that's what I did. The original chart, the one that you guys would have downloaded, I charted on PC Stitch. Is it PC Stitch or WinStitch? I'll put the name of the program underneath, as now I've said it, I'm doubting myself. I charted it on that, and that is a free program unless you want to save or print. So if you wanted to have a go at charting something, you could download that to your computer, have a go at charting it and stitch from the chart just to see if it would fit. There's other free programs available, and if anybody knows of a really good one, just pop it in the comments below and then people can search through and maybe have a go charting using their computer. But I'm so excited. I think I could have just listed through that and finished it this week, but I made myself stop and wait because I wanted to see where it would take me, give it a little bit of time to think about it, and just make sure I was getting the right motifs and the initials and things like that in the right place. But that Brenda Keyes book is an absolute wealth of patterns and charts. And the other thing that occurred to me, because it was still on my printer incidentally and I was filing it away, is the Pandemic Sampler by Sassy Girl is a free chart, and it's actually got lots and lots of really lovely motifs on it. I mean, it's a fantastic chart anyway, but even if you weren't necessarily going to stitch the whole thing, you could maybe have a look at it as a source for some motifs and some colour examples to finish off the unfinished sampler. So the hashtags for it are Unfinished Sampler Series and hashtag #1 Maude, because we nicknamed her Maude after our very own Laura, who's Maude and Mozart on Instagram, the famous cereal starter. A lady on YouTube sent me a message, well, she commented on YouTube about her idea for the naming of the other unfinished samplers, and she thought that it would be a good idea to name the others after sort of unsung women, and one of the examples that she gave was the handmaidens for the royalty, for various kings and queens that have been and gone. And that made me think, actually, and it made me think about another project that I want to do, and the project is this one. Now this isn't a very common chart, certainly not in the UK anyway, and this is the Queen's Sampler by Plum Street Samplers, and it says there, the end crowneth the means. Sorry, the end crowneth the work. The end crowneth the work, and it's Elizabeth I. And the reason that her comment made me think of this chart and made me think, yes, I'm going to get that out and I'm going to make a start on it, is because Elizabeth I had probably one of the more famous handmaidens, who was Blanche Parry. And Blanche Parry is actually in our family tree. My grandmother was a Parry on my father's side. So she is she's one of our ancestors. So what I would like to do actually is stitch that, make it into a pillow and put on the reverse Blanche Parry's details to go with that, because yeah, I'd totally forgotten, well, I hadn't forgotten that she was in our family tree, but I hadn't put two and two together. So thank you very much for making that suggestion. It made me think. Right, I feel I'm going quite fast today. It was like that, I went into school, this is so funny, I went to school and it took me 45 minutes to get from the car park to my lab. Now that is a 1.5-minute journey. Once you get into the school, my lab's like a 1.5-minute journey away. But everyone was just talking. It was just literally like, as soon as all the teachers got together, we're all masked up, we're all stood separately, but everyone's just like, rah, 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 like that. And then I had a live lesson in the afternoon with my sixth form, and partway through it they were like, miss, can you slow down a bit? And I'm like, I'm so excited, I'm just so excited to be back, and things are going to start getting back to normal, especially after the week that I'd had, where I was just getting to the bottom of it. Then let's do a freebie, shall we? Let's do a freebie. And I've picked this one. I went back to the Snowflower Diaries, and how cute is that? These gorgeous little bunnies with her little pink tutu on, and it's finished in a little oval there, and I'm really keen to do an oval finish. I don't have any oval finishes, so I'm really keen to do an oval finish, and I just thought that was so cute. So I will put the link for that chart in the description box below. The other thing that I want to say is I quite often get people asking me on YouTube about shops and where to buy things from. Every video I put the links to my favourite shops underneath that I mention most frequently. So if you're ever stuck looking for somewhere, do check the description box and you'll find my favourite haunts. Right. Haul. Let's do haul. I've got some very special haul. Well, it's very special to me. I am going to start with the rest of my haul. I picked up a couple of threads, some other threads that I'll show you in a minute that go in plans, but I picked up a belle soir strawberry shortcake, and that is like the perfect description of this floss. It is that strawberry shortcake colour. I can almost smell it. And you know, the characters and the toys that used to get, the strawberry shortcake toys, had that smell to them. When every time I look at this thread, I can almost smell that smell. And yeah, I'll put a picture up of strawberry shortcake if you can't remember her, or perhaps outside of the UK. I don't know how global strawberry shortcake was. So I got that with some other threads that I'll show you in a minute. I got my first expo chart actually, and I got this one by Michelle Bendy Stitchy, Berry Bird, and I bought this from Lollypop Stitches, who is a YouTuber. She also has an Etsy shop. Etsy, nearly did a bit of a sweary there, didn't I? An Etsy site, which is in her YouTube bio. I think it's called Lollypop Stitches as well. And she is selling PDFs of Bendy Stitchy designs. So what happened was I purchased it from her, gave her my email, then she sends the email details to Michelle, and then Michelle sent me my chart out. So I really liked that one. I think with the berries, I'm going to put beads on those berries as well. So I can't wait to get started on that one. So that's the first of the ones I'd kind of earmarked from Needlework Expo. My other haul, bit of a weird one. I bought, I don't very often do this, but I bought a part finished sampler, and I bought it really for the chart because I really liked the chart, and I thought, well, if I can finish the sampler then I will, but most people do their crosses different to mine. My top leg goes from bottom left to top right, whereas most people I think that I see, their cross top leg goes the other way. So I thought, well, chances are I probably won't be able to finish it because I bet you the stitcher goes the other way to me. But they don't, they go the same way as me. However, they have done a colour conversion, no details of the colour conversion, and it's using variegated floss, so the chances of me being able to actually match it are very small. But it's by, who is it by? Scarlet Letter, obviously, and it's called American Quaker Band Sampler, and it has got a photograph on the front, hence why the glare, but I really liked that sampler. And here is the bit that has been stitched previously. So I'm going to have not enough fabric to redo it on this fabric, but I am going to have a bit of fabric to play with. And there's the stitcher's work. Beautifully done, but there's no way that I can match those colours because they are not the called for, and they're fancy flosses, so even if I can work out what the colour is, the chances are the dye lot might be different. So I've decided what I'm going to do. I can pretty much match this dark colour, so I'm going to bring this down to here. I'm going to frog the A and the B, and I'm going to turn it into a drum. Because I don't want to waste it, I don't want to not do something with it, and I think it would make a beautiful drum. And to go on the top of it, I have made some pins. Now I'll show you what I've made. Let me get the right ones, those three. I've made a few of these, and if you're interested I'll do a tutorial to show you how I've made them. But these are the pins that I'm going to put on top of the drum. So I've picked out the DMC matches as close as I can. Let me try and get them to focus. Come on, focus, focus. The DMC matches as close as I can, and I've put them onto these long pins and done a little beaded pin as well. And so when I've made my drum, they will just sit on the top there. And I also have made some for another drum, another drum that I've got to finish, which is this one, which came from the Winds of Autumn Blackbird book. And so I just took a couple of the flosses that I'd used to make those. Let's hold them up together. Oh dear. And come on, play ball fabric. I just made a couple of little bobbin pins to go on the top there as well. So yeah, if you want me to do a little tutorial on how to make them, they're super easy, then just drop me a message in the comments and I will do one if you want to. So I've got like 3 or 4 drums to make at the moment. 3 or 4 drums to make. And my other piece of haul, this is what I was super pleased with. Always keep an eye out on eBay for Blackbird Designs. It's one of my searches, and this came up, A Stitcher's Journey, and it was being sold by auction or make an offer, and I made an offer which I thought was a good price for me, still a good price for me. It was less than you'd pay for one of the normal Blackbird books. But this one is out of print, and the lady accepted the offer, and I had it in my hot little hands within like 48 hours. It was really quick. So what I thought I'd do is, because this one's out of print and you might not have seen it before, and you never know, they do crop up. I can't find another one for sale at the moment anywhere, but they do crop up, so I thought I'd just do a quick flick through so that if another one crops up, you've at least had a look through, and then if you want to get it, you know what's in it. It's an amazing book. It's got so many gorgeous designs in it, as you would expect. So I'm going to try and show you without showing you any of the pattern. Oops. So this is the first one there. So it's a reproduction of that little sampler there, and it's called the Kildare Model School. There we go. There might be a better picture of that one. This one I really liked. It's called Seaside Retreat. Come down to the sea and stitch with me. Love that one. This one is it's called Experience Leyland's Needlebook. So there's that one, and I think there's another photograph of that somewhere a bit later on. That one, it's there. Just find something to lock the chart with. There we go, so you can see that it opens out like that. Squeaky chair. This one's called Tulip House, which I really like, but I think I'll probably darken the colours a little bit on that one. This one is called Tulip House Stitching Companion, and you get several different alphabets in here, so you can easily change the letters on these pieces. There's a tulip pin cushion. Again, let me just put my piece over there. So you can make a lovely set with that. Thistle House sewing box. Really nice box top. Oh My Stars pin keep. Now I think there's two versions of this. So this one seems to be the smaller one. Unless it's just stitched twice, but I think that one's the smaller one. This is called Birds and Berries Needlebook. I'll show you that one because you can see it sort of forms like a trifold needlebook. Birds and Berries pin box. There, I really love this one. Prairie House sewing case. That one. And then Summer Stars pin cushion. Now this one I think is bigger than the other one that I showed you before. I love that. So simple, but it's so gorgeous. And one or two more. Summer sachet. And the same one. Heart in Bloom sewing tray. There we go. And is that the last one? There's one there called, no, I think that's just a part from another, yeah, another one of the charts. So that is a stitcher's journey. I want to stitch everything in there. I think it's a really springy, summery book, and I can't wait to get going on that one. Talking of Blackbird, so if you heard Brenda and Laura mentioning that their idea for having the first weekend in every month as like a Blackbird bonanza, and they said that they were planning to start in May, which is obviously the start of Mania. Now I've been formulating my plans for Mania and I think I might be ready to share them with you next week, but I was then talking to, or then watching Nikki Noodle. If you don't watch her, you definitely should. And she showed that she had this book, Agnes Platt. And I love the strawberry sampler there, Agnes Platt strawberry sampler. There's 3 projects in this book. There's, and again, this one's not out of print, this one's freely available. There's the pin keep. There is the B-Skep one, which I love, that's my absolute favourite. And there is also, yeah, it doesn't look like I've got the stitched version of it. This is the original, the full sampler from which this book is kind of inspired. And I really like this one. So when she showed it, I messaged her and I said, oh, I've got that book. Do you fancy doing the Skep one together to celebrate the Blackbird weekend, the first weekend in May? So I've managed to get a few of the colours. A lot of them were out of stock, so I'll just have to either keep trying or just stitch from similar colours. There we are. So there is one of my plans. My other plan is, I think I am going to start tomorrow, as it's Mother's Day, Huckleberry Farm, the blue flower that I showed last week or the week before, with the fabric that I dyed and the threads that I got. So I think I'm going to start that tomorrow. So that'll be a nice treat. And that's everything, I think. It's a bit of a whistle-stop tour. One thing before I go, I promised I would update people. Victorian Motto, I spoke about them a few weeks ago, about just saying that I was in the same boat as everybody else, that I hadn't received any of my any of the things that I'd ordered since November. So October was my last shipment. I have now gone via PayPal and I've been refunded for November, December, January and February. I'm really sad, really sad. I wrote lots of emails, well not lots, but not in a harassment way, but I wrote a few emails to Nancy, and every one of them I said I'd much rather have the product, you know, please can you just let me know what's happening. I said I know that the situation has been beyond your control, but obviously the way that you communicate with your customers is still within your control. Didn't have anything back, and so I put in requests to PayPal for refunds, as I said, for November, December, January and February. I quite expected November and December to be contested, because on their blog it says that they'd caught up all of November and December, and then they were working on the January, February orders. So I quite expected the November, December payments to be contested by them because they had been posted out, but they weren't contested, and I received a refund for all of them. So I got my money back, minus about £10. I think I lost out very slightly on the exchange rate, but there it is. And I'd still rather have had the product, and I really hope that she's able to get back on her feet and get everything going again, because brilliant linen, brilliant floss, and I wish her all the best with that. And that is it. That is it for me today. I feel like I've just kind of gone, whew. I hope you found something that you like. I hope that you hit the subscribe button and hit that little ding dong bell thing so you know when I put up a new video. Next week I'm going to share with you my Stitch Mania plans, I think. I think so. Yeah, I think I'm ready. And we'll see what I've managed to accomplish in the week. Until then, stay classy, Stitchers.